You're listening to the world's #1 football podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen, Matt Hartman, and Ryan Matthews.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today Ben and I stepped up to the plate and we made our own 12-team playoff predictions. We each filled them out on our brackets out on the stream on this video, and we came up with a national championship each. We did not. It was not together. We each had our own, and you'll even see how we got to the 12 teams that made the bracket. It was pretty fun, pretty entertaining. The storylines, the lore that will be told throughout this season from our lenses was pretty fun, and we had no idea, so we were all reacting on our way through. And before I forget, if you want to see this video early, live, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central Time on this YouTube channel, we will always go live with what is posted over here. So if you're interested in that, you want to see it a little early, stick around and come around. And we always interact with the chat. We love interacting with the chat. So if that sounds like something up your alley, come check us out. But I'll let you get to the video, enjoy it, and stick around to the end because we got some bonus week 0 picks. What we're here for, let me find it, 12-team playoff predictions. That's where we're going to start. I think I got to go first, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
do we want to just go, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do, our 12, we both do our 12, both do our 11, or the whole thing?
Yeah, let's do our 12s. Let's set up our bracket, and then we can kind of pluck off from there. That sounds right, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's start, since I'm insane, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I predicted every Power 4 conference game. So every game, and everybody, and then I threw in my group of 5 team, and it's not Boise State. I was not going to pick Boise State. That was a rule of mine. I didn't want to. They probably will get it, but I didn't want to pick them. It's not fun. So let's start at the top. Let's start with some big game results of mine. So this is the early non-conference, and you see Ohio State beats my beloved Texas Longhorns. Bama beats FSU. Clemson beats LSU in the Death Valley Invitational. Miami will beat Notre Dame week 1. North Carolina will win their first game with Bill Belichick at the helm. Oklahoma will beat Michigan. Illinois will beat Duke. UNLV beats UCLA. Notre Dame will beat A&M, and Florida will beat Miami. Those were my early non-con games, and then we will run through my conference games real quick, and they kind of set the table. LSU will beat Florida. Georgia will beat Alabama. Bama will beat LSU. Texas will beat Georgia, and a mystery team along the way will beat Texas. I don't want to reveal one mystery team yet. And then the Big Ten. Penn State will beat Oregon, which is going to be an awesome game, by the way. Looking at those schedules, those teams are going to be undefeated, and that's a whiteout game for Penn State. Shout out, finally getting that right. I don't know if it's on Peacock or actual NBC, but that game's going to be awesome. USC is going to beat Illinois in a game everybody is really, really hyping up to be a playoff matchup. This is a play-in game. We'll see. And then Ohio State will beat Penn State, and at the end of the month, Ohio State will finally beat Michigan. And I could be wrong about that. And then I have a mystery rivalry week game. And then last, the ACC and the Big 12. Georgia Tech will beat Clemson early at home, I believe. Yeah, they're at home. Florida State will beat Miami. Clemson will beat UNC. Both Clemson and Miami will beat SMU. SMU's out. All right, I'm out on SMU. Louisville will beat Miami, but they will lose to Clemson. And NC State obviously will beat North Carolina. That had to be thrown in there. Maybe that only matters to me. The Big 12, Kansas State will win Farmageddon. Utah will beat Arizona State. TCU will beat K-State. Arizona State will beat Texas Tech. And K-State will beat Utah. So that gets me to my conference championship picks for the Power Four. Georgia will beat Texas in a rematch. Georgia, Texas, and Alabama, or Alabama was 6-2. I had them just missing. Penn State will avenge their loss to Ohio State, and they will finish 12-1, the number 1 overall seed. Georgia is the number 2 overall seed. The ACC, Georgia Tech will get a rematch against Clemson. This time Clemson will win, and Kansas State will face Utah once more. Because of that tie break, Utah will win. If you notice something, I had all of these teams losing in the regular season, but winning the conference championship game. So I thought that was pretty fun. Why not throw that in there?
Yeah.
So then we get into my top 12. Number 1, Penn State, the Big Ten champion. They're 12-1. Georgia, 12-1 SEC champion. So both of those teams lose in the regular season, but beat their foes that they lost to in the regular season in the conference title game. So they're the undisputed number 1 and number 2. You want to argue Georgia's better? Fine. I have Penn State higher. Ohio State will be number 3. They will be 12-1 with their only loss coming in the Big Ten championship. Notre Dame will be 11-1. Their only loss being Miami. You look at that schedule, man. Good thing they're still associated with the ACC. Notre Dame's going to get in every year if they continue to have this schedule. They have like 2 real games at Miami, home A&M. If they beat those games, and even then, like they could finish 10-2 and still get in. I have Texas at 10-3, obviously losing to Ohio State, losing to Florida, and then losing to Georgia in the SEC championship game. I do not have them knocking behind Clemson for a loss in a conference championship, even though Clemson wins. Clemson is 6. Clemson is 11-2. They lose to South Carolina, and they lose to Georgia Tech early. I think that would ruffle some feathers. But I don't think teams are going, with the way they did SMU last year, if Texas plays Georgia close, I just don't think they're going to knock anybody for a championship game loss, and sooner or later, they're going to eliminate conference championship games. It's just going to happen. Then we get into Utah. They are the Big 12 champion. They're 11-2. Then I get into Alabama at 8. They are 10-2. They will lose to Georgia, as I mentioned, and lose to Mizzou. Threw in Mizzou there. Number 9, I have Oregon. They will lose to Penn State, and they will lose to Iowa. And then this is where we get into, I'm also going to throw in here my 12 seed, UNLV 12-1. So what we have is, I think there's 8 spots locked in. I think there's 8 teams with their floors. They're just going to get in. The 3 in the SEC, Georgia, Texas, Bama. The 3 in the Big Ten, Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State. And then 1 ACC, 1 independent. I threw them as ACC, Clemson and Notre Dame. So there's 4 spots left. The Big 12 champion, which ended up being Utah. The G5 champion, which ended up being UNLV. And a mystery Big Ten team and a mystery SEC team. Let's start with the Big Ten game. So I have a Big Ten team. The mystery rivalry week game, as I mentioned. I think 9-2 Nebraska is going to face 9-2 Iowa. And that's going to be a game to make the playoffs. I think Iowa is going to get some big wins throughout. I think they're going to beat Oregon at home. I think they're going to beat Indiana at home. I think Iowa. I'm buying Gronowski.
Which is crazy.
I'm doing it.
Best quarterback they've had in years. I'll give you that.
He's pretty awesome. And for Iowa, all we're shooting for is what? Top 65 offense. Top half of the country offense. And I think this team could be 9-2. Nebraska was much more schedule driven. They avoid Ohio State. They avoid Oregon. They play Penn State very, very late. Pull the Cignetti, man. Just make it close against Penn State. Just make it close, and you're going to get in, or you're going to have a chance to get in. But then we get into the actual game itself. The last 12 years, Iowa is 10-2 in this game, but they're gonna be 10-3. I have Nebraska back, making the college football playoff. Dylan Raiola is going to take a massive step. Year 3, Matt Rule. I'm buying it. I'm buying all of, the cliches around college football this year, so I have them in. And then we get into my SEC team. This was one that I took a deep breath, man.
You're going to break my heart if it's not who I think it is.
I can't believe I did this. So, I think that this team's got a coach on the hot seat. I'm just going to say that. I think they have a pretty... What if the quarterback is as dynamic as everybody wants to believe he is? What if the defense is like top 20 good because they have the talent to be? What if the skill players get there? And what if they return to a glory that they believe they should be around? If you thought Oklahoma, you're absolutely wrong. I have Florida as my 11 seed, 9-3, and a lot of people are going to say 3 losses, Matt, over a 10-3 Kansas State team who loses in the Big 12 title game. So some people are going to be upset about that. The reason I have Florida in, their losses are LSU, A&M, Georgia. All of those are November 1st or before. They end their season. They will beat Texas. They will have that chip. They will beat Miami. They will have that chip. Miami will still finish as a top 25 team. And all in November, they get to face Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State. If they win all those games, we have seen the committee ride the waves of momentum in November. And if Florida is the hottest team in the country, going 4-0, beating a team like Ole Miss, who's going to be in the hunt, Tennessee, who's going to be in the hunt, Florida State, because they're in the ACC, is going to be in the hunt. I think there's just no way they're going to be as bad as last year, is kind of what I'm buying. I think Florida gets in as the 11 seed. So my top 12, as I mentioned, Penn State, Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, all get byes. Texas will play UNLV. Clemson will play Florida. Utah will play Nebraska. And Alabama will play Oregon. Do we have any questions? Or do you want to get into yours, Ben?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll dig into mine. We definitely see, when you're doing that whole Florida stuff, I mean, there were a couple teams that came into mind.
Yep.
There's
I have
definitely...
LSU missing. I have A&M missing. I have Ole Miss. Someone has to lose in this conference.
Yes.
And I'm buying Florida. I'm buying Lagway. I buy Napier. I know a lot of people probably don't, but I buy Napier as a pretty good coach, and I think they figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, we see him a little bit differently. I mean, we see Florida. We have Florida at the same record. I have Florida just on the outside looking in. I mean, I did my top 12, and then I did 13 through 16 as well. We'll briefly run 13 through 16 very, very quickly. 13 is a 3-loss Big 12 team. Losses to Baylor and then Utah twice in the conference game. And that might spoil it just a little bit. Florida 9-3 with losses to LSU, Texas, Georgia. That'll make a little bit more sense once we get into the top 12 there. Bama kind of in that same vein, at going 9-3 as well, with losses to LSU, Georgia, and Auburn of all teams. And we'll get down later into a later discussion as to why we kind of what about Auburn gets me pumped. But they did not make the top 12 here. And then 16 was 3-loss USC with losses to Oregon, Michigan, and Illinois. So those were kind of the 4 teams on the outside looking in. Very, very quickly, I did not have the same extent. I didn't go through all of the Power 4 game by game. But I do have your guys' conference games here. In the ACC, we see this eye to eye. I have Clemson and Georgia Tech. Clemson, being victorious in this. In the SEC, I have Texas and LSU. Texas is going to win that one. I'm right there, locks up with you in the Big Ten. OSU, Penn State. The only difference there is I have OSU winning it. And then out of the Big 12, I have Utah and ASU. Utah winning that one, as we discussed there with ASU here. But we'll start 1 to 4. We'll get these out quickly. Last year, we did not see a single team go undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
That's changing. Where we've kind of got used to the top 1 or 2 seeds going undefeated within the college football playoffs. We're getting back to that. 1 and 2 seed, you could flip them back and forth because they're both undefeated teams. They're both conference champs. My 1 and 2 seed here are Clemson and Texas, both going 13-0, both winning their conference. I just think Clemson's going to look a little bit more dominant along the way, probably because they're playing in the ACC. And then my other 2 teams here are LSU at 3, going 11-2 with losses to Clemson and loss to Texas in the conference championship game, which that's a whole discussion in its own right. Are we going to knock teams because they made it to the conference championship to begin with? Like if LSU looked dominant and they looked like this great team, are we really going to move them below teams that didn't play in the conference championship? It's interesting. And then I have OSU going 11-2, winning the Big 12 or the Big 10, like I just said, with losses to Texas. And come on now. I mean, you guys can't see the flag behind me, but who else? It's Michigan.
Yep.
Ryan Day has not been able to beat Michigan. He was not able to beat Michigan when Michigan couldn't throw the football. What makes you think he's going to be able to beat Michigan this year? So I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. They're going to lose to Michigan. So those are my teams that get the bye. Again, that's Clemson, Texas, LSU, and OSU. Jumping in at number 5 is going to be Georgia. They're going to go 11-2. Their only losses on the entire season are both going to come to Texas. Once in the regular season, and then actually no, they don't play in the postseason here. That is my bad. So they're going to have a 1-loss team to Texas. Their only loss, again, to Texas. They don't get that second loss because it's LSU playing. That's on me. And then I have Penn State at 6. Now, this is where we jump back to those both losses coming against OSU. So it's kind of the inverse of what you had when these teams are losing to them in the regular season, but winning in the postseason. I have them losing both of them to OSU. 7 is going to be your 1-loss Utah. Their only loss is going to be to K-State in the regular season, but they're the Big 12 champions. Nothing to worry about there. Your 8th seed is going to be Notre Dame. It goes 11-1. The only loss is going to be in that rivalry game to USC. That game is always a battle. It is always a pleasure to watch, but they will always be hamstrung because they won't have a hat to hang on saying we are, the conference champions in the ACC or something like that. And it's always going to hurt them until they figure it out. But like you said, in some rights, it's going to be helpful because they get to make their own schedule and they don't have to worry about, playing against these conference teams and whatnot. 9 is Oregon going 11-1. They're only lost to Penn State.
You are much higher on these teams than I am.
Yeah,
I'm predicting much more parity than you.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Number 10. It's gonna kind of. It was rough, but I really, really enjoyed this team, and I like what they're bringing back. I think they're a little bit of an underdog here. It's gonna be Georgia Tech going 10-3. Georgia Tech going 10-3. They're bringing back in a lot of their pieces. It's a weak ACC team. I think they can do it. 2 losses to Clemson and then a loss to Georgia. Here's my, group of 5 team. It's going to be Navy. I discussed them previously a couple episodes ago. I really, really like their schedule. The only game that I'm worried about there is the loss to Notre Dame. I would be just stunned if they clearly beat Notre Dame. But I love the rest of their schedule. And then this is a team, Matt. This is going to come as no surprise. I mean, to other people, it will be. But my final team seeking in here is a Big Ten team that is going into year 2 with their head coach who has been able to make leaps into year 2 and year 3. They have a young quarterback that everyone really, really loves. I like some of their offensive pieces, just like Kurt Signetti did a couple years ago. They're bringing in a whole lot of transfers on the defensive side of the football. That's UW, baby. That's Washington. I have Washington going 10-2 with the losses to OSU and Oregon. Again, obviously that's why they're going to be, higher than them. But I love this team. Again, Damon Williams, he flashed. Early parts of the offseason, he was kind of a fun, well-kept secret in the Big Ten. But as the offseason went on, people have kind of caught on to him. They have one of the better wide receivers in all of college football in Denzel Boston. They have a running back in the backfield that has proven that he can put up 1,000 yards in Jonah Coleman. I love their outside cornerbacks. Both their starting outside cornerbacks are fantastic. It's Takario Davis. You remember that guy? He was so much fun to watch. And then I'm not going to pretend that I know how to pronounce the first name of their other outside starting cornerback there. Last name is Prysock. He's so much fun to watch. And then, like I said, they brought in a whole bunch of defensive transfers. Both of their projected starting linebackers are Tyreek from, I think it's Wazoo. And then I think I'm pronouncing this right. It's X-Ray Alexander. He's played at Idaho and I think it was Central Florida. They brought in a CJ Christian, who's probably going to be their starting safety there. Another transfer, and then 2 more transfers along that defensive line this past year. One from Western Michigan and Ontario Thomason, and then a guy that had followed him not like when Jed Fisher came, but this year, an edge. Again, I really don't want to butcher his name, but Tahi Ugalele. A really fun, again, they're bringing in all of these defensive transfers just like Kurt did. And then Jed Fish has had a history of making these kind of jumps. Going from year 2 to year 3 at U of A, he jumped from 5-7 to 9-3. So we've seen him do it before.
Not to these heights.
He went from 5-7 to 9-3. And I have them going, 10-2, so it's not too far off. And I think he has a much better roster and a much better quarterback. Noah Fafita was fun for the 1 year, but come on. Williams is better. I like the talent on this team better. Again, he's proven to do it. I love Washington, and I think we're kind of sleeping on him a little bit. Again, it's going to be tough because they play in a good Big Ten. But I love everything that Jed Fish is doing there, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. But to loop it around again, the teams that got the bye were Clemson, Texas, LSU, and OSU. So the first round looks like 5-seed Georgia against 12-seed Washington. That'll be fun. Penn State, 6-seed versus 11-seed Navy. 7-seed Utah versus 10-seed Georgia Tech, which Lord knows, for the casual fan, no one's going to be watching that game. They're going to be like, what is this? And then 9-seed Oregon versus 8-seed Notre Dame. But that's kind of how the first round plays out to me.
Repeat your buys for a second. I'm filling out your bracket on playoff predictors. So you had Clemson,
Texas, LSU, and OSU.
Okay. All right.
So it's gonna be fun. We definitely see this a bit differently with your Alabama and your LSU.
Yeah.
We're pretty close there with Florida and everything. And I will say to your Nebraska point, Nebraska has a lot of stuff to be fun and happy about. I think we're probably a year early last year. Everyone was really, really excited about what Nebraska was going to do last year. And again, I think we're just a year too early, and I think we're going to probably see them jump into this conversation this year. So I do agree with that.
All right. Time out. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really, really helps us out. It helps push out the algorithm to so many different new fans of the channel. But I'll let you get back to the video. Does everybody see that? All right, good. So this is what I had. Again, what I mentioned. This is put all on to paper. The first round is going to be very similar to what last year entailed. Pick the home teams. I have the home teams in every single game. I have Texas beating UNLV. I have Clemson beating Florida. I have Alabama beating Oregon, and Utah beating Nebraska. I think Nebraska-Utah could be a banger, but we're buying Devin Dampier stock. So if you're not, you're going to... It's like the guy with the Bitcoin. It's like, invest in Bitcoin now. And so that's what you got to do. Invest in Devin Dampier. Clemson over Florida. I think Clemson's just going to overwhelm them with overall talent. Alabama, I think they have the better quarterback, and just overall playing in Tuscaloosa, I think that's a tough trip for Eugene, from Eugene to Tuscaloosa. And then Texas, I don't think a Group of 5 team is ever going to win a game, but we'll see. Maybe one day it happens. Then we're going to go in order of when these games would happen. So first is the Cotton Bowl, which I have as Notre Dame, Texas. So I'm picking my horns. I'm picking Texas, obviously enough. I think Notre Dame is not going to be challenged enough this year. I'm challenging Notre Dame. I know they just went to the national championship a year ago, and I understand that they're going from Riley Leonard to CJ Carr. Theoretically, that should be an upgrade passing the ball, and it might be. But I think they're really going to lose what they were able to grasp in the red zone with Riley Leonard. And, I think Jeremiah Love is going to be in the Heisman convo. Do I think he's going to win it? Maybe, maybe not. But I do have Texas winning in the Cotton Bowl. And then we get into the next game, the Orange Bowl. We're going to have Clemson and Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, because the way these bowls kind of commence is that the teams who they get to pick. So Penn State's going to pick the Rose Bowl, Georgia's going to pick the Sugar Bowl, and Ohio State's going to pick the Orange Bowl over the Cotton Bowl. I think this one was tough. These were all tough, I should say. I think Clemson has maybe more talent than Ohio State this year. I think I can say that pretty convincingly. But even with all those players, I just think Ohio State has the much better player. And when was the last time we saw a consensus like top 5 receiver? We're just waiting for him to get to the NFL, go against a Clemson corner with the last name Terrell. I think Avion Terrell's really good, but I don't think he can handle Jeremiah Smith. I had Ohio State winning this one. And then we go to the next one. We go to Penn State, Alabama.
Hold on. So what I'm hearing is you trust Ryan Day and a first-year quarterback in Julian Sayin to beat Cade Klubnik and Dabo Swinney.
I do.
Wow. Okay.
He's won a national championship more recently. So, there you go. That's our barometer in our sport.
That's fair.
Then we get into Alabama, Penn State, the Rose Bowl. The last time Alabama was at this mark, they lost. Last time Penn State was at this mark, they did beat Utah, but I'm more thinking of the one against USC. Remember that phenomenal game where they blew it? Where James Franklin blew it, as he always does. But is this year different? Is it? I mean, they got the quarterback coming back. They got the 2 All-American running backs coming back. The defense is still really good. I think Zakai Wheatley is going to be in the conversation to win the Thorpe. I think he's that good. Even A.J. Harris he's on that list too. But it's Alabama. And Kalen DeBoer always knows how to win these games. He probably shouldn't. I think Ty Simpson is pretty phenomenal, but I think this is the year for Penn State. I have Penn State making it back to the national semifinal game in not a rematch, but a battle of the two teams who got to this point last year and lost in Texas and Penn State. Then we get into the quarterfinals, the last one, the Sugar Bowl. Georgia played in this game last year, lost to Notre Dame, obviously tragedy within New Orleans. Kind of delayed the game a little bit. But on the football field, they didn't have their starting quarterback, and now they don't have their starting quarterback in Carson Beck this season. So their starter from that game is their starter in this game. I'm picking Georgia just based on the sheer fact that it's a Big 12 team against the SEC. I'm elite. I'm an elitist, all right? Don't get mad. Don't get too upset. But, yeah. I have Georgia winning. And I have... These are the final four, the four teams who commenced in their championship games. Texas played Georgia in the SEC. Penn State played Ohio State in the Big Ten. So let's start with Texas against Penn State. This is the big... Someone's got to make a national championship between Steve Sarkisian and James Franklin. And you get into the team of destiny with Penn State. And I do think this is the best team they're ever going to get. This is the best shot they're ever going to have. They're going to be the number one seed. They're going to finally beat Ohio State. They're finally going to have it. But sad enough for them, they're facing the player of destiny, Arch Manning, the third-generation quarterback. He's on my wall back there, for God's sakes. We're picking Texas. They're going to the national championship, obviously, the number one team in the preseason. They're going to have their bumps. They're going to lose to Florida. They're going to lose to Georgia in the SEC again in the championship game, but they are going to make it to the national championship. And then we get into the Peach Bowl between Ohio State and Georgia. Does that ring a bell, Buckeyes fans? Or should I say when the ball dropped? Noah Ruggles, wide left. C.J. Stroud played one of the most complete game I had ever seen from a college quarterback who was like just outmanned in that game. It was phenomenal. And they didn't have enough. This one again was tough. I couldn't decide. I just couldn't decide. But are we going to have a repeat of what the last time these two teams entailed? Georgia's going to have the home field advantage, obviously, in Atlanta. They're going to win the SEC championship there. It's just where they win. But where is the national championship located? Miami, Florida. I believe one Jeremiah Smith is from Miami, Florida. He is going to make it back. He is going to carry his team. And I'm talking about a receiver carrying his team because I think he has the talent to do so. And Texas and Ohio State, have we seen this before? For the third time in 400 days, these teams are going to play. But this time for a national championship with all the stakes. For real this time. And it's...
Wouldn't this be so much fun for the podcast too? I know Ryan's not here right now with us.
Oh, it'd be electric.
It would be
It'd be electric. Fun. But this traces it back. This is full circle moment. When does college football start? Because this has been a big thing. It's not week 0. That's chips and salsa. It's not the Thursday before the games start. That's when you're setting the table. You know what I'm saying? The start of college football is 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon, week 1, when that first game kicks off. And this year, the game that kicks that off is Texas versus Ohio State. Could you imagine if the college football season was bookended by Texas and Ohio State? The main characters of our story, Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith, meeting in the national championship in Miami, Florida. I have one thing to say, Ben, and you know what I'm going to say. And it's God bless Texas. Texas is going to win the national championship nearly 20 years to the day of when they last won their national championship against USC. This time they're going to beat Ohio State in a dramatic filled game, but they're finally going to be recognized. And so that is my playoff prediction.
I mean,
Let's get
quite
into
the
Ben.
storybook ending there. I mean,
Did you see it? Yes,
from
that was
start to finish, OSU and Texas.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good.
Let me share yours. Let me get yours up here. All right. Where is it? Here we go. All right. Chat, can we see? Yes. Chat, we can see.
Chat, we can see. Well, we'll start off kind of in that same spot that you did. We'll start out with 12-5 here. Washington versus Georgia. Does Gunnar Stockton have it? Is Washington the team of destiny? Can Jed Fish win a playoff game? Can Damon Williams be that guy? The Washington Huskies are going to shock the world.
What?
Washington Huskies are going
They're
to
shock me.
the world. They're going to shock the Bulldogs. Huskies on top. Anyway,
We're already just going.
we're going. We're going. Well, this might be the only time that we ever see a 12 seed win.
Yeah.
Soak it in. Remember the name. It's going to be great. And we'll kind of just go across the screen now. Everything's discombobulated on the schedule, kind of the bowl schedule that you do. So we'll jump right here at Oregon and Notre Dame. Does CJ Carr have what it takes to get it done? Does Dante Moore kind of show what he had when he was coming out of high school to begin with? Can Evan Stewart make it back? Can Evan Stewart play this game? Oh! But at the end of the day, no. You know what? We're switching up on the fly.
What?
We're going to Oregon. We're going to Oregon. We're going to Oregon.
In South Bend.
In South Bend. In South Bend. How much of an impact does losing your defensive coordinator have? Does CJ Carr have what it takes to get it done? I don't think so. I like Dante Moore more. I like this coaching staff more.
So. He's out on CJ Carr. Notre Dame fans.
Haven't even seen him. I'm out on him. I mean, push comes to shove. I mean, both of them come back to two quarterbacks that we haven't really, haven't seen play within their team. I mean, we saw a little bit of what Dante Moore was like at UCLA. It wasn't the best, but now he has a good coaching staff, an actual team around him. And I just think, I like Dante Moore over CJ Carr. And then when push comes to shove, I'm taking the quarterback. So, I mean, we have now already seen two upsets here. I mean, that's fantastic. No one saw this one coming. But as you said, I don't think we ever see a group of 5 team win. I don't. This one's easy. Penn State, you're moving on. And Utah. As much as I love Georgia Tech, Utah's moving on. I like the quarterback there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Taking the home teams there.
Taking the home team there. But I mean, again, now you have a good spread here. I mean, you have the 12 seed in, the 9 seed in. You got some upsets that are brewing here. But kind of like we had talked about, obviously it's different sports here, but in the same vein that March Madness rolled out, we're going with the underdogs here. This is going to be the complete opposite. Kind of this college football season, in terms of what we had seen compared to last season, is going to be the complete opposite. Favorites are going to win every single one of these games. Every team that got a bye, every team that got a chance to rest and really scout their opponents are going to win. That's OSU, Clemson, LSU, and Texas. It's going to be it's going to be so much fun. I'm really circling that LSU Texas right there on the calendar. But we've talked about it numerous times. I really think Clemson is the best team right now going into the season in college football. Can Dabo get it done one last time? Can Klubnik really show what he has? We've talked about the pieces that Clemson has on their defense. Unlike you, I am picking Dabo and Cade over Day and Sayan. Clemson, you're moving on. As you said, I mean, this is Arch. People love Arch. Arch is the second coming. He's the messiah of college football.
SEC rematch for you, the champion.
SEC rematch. Exactly. That's really the big thing. Does LSU have what it takes to overcome Texas the second time playing? I'm sorry, Matt. Your team is great, but this isn't your year. Next year is your year. Next year, Texas is going to be on fire. Next year, Texas is going to be the runaway favorite. Arch needs another year under his belt. You got a lot of young guys along that offensive line. They need to develop a little bit more. I've said this before. I'm a big fan of Garrett Nussmeier. He gets it done. He gets it done the second time.
Oh, I needed to hear it. Rematch of 2020 national championship.
Wouldn't that be so much fun? Can LSU get it done a second time around? Can LSU get it done a second time around? At the end of the day, I don't know if LSU has enough.
In the horse. Chat.
Whoa.
He cut out.
Whoa. I have no clue what happened there. We just got too excited, I guess, for the rematch. But at the end of the day, does LSU have enough on the offensive side of the football, outside of Garrett, to compete with what Clemson has on the defensive side of the football? I don't think so. Clemson is your national champions. Dabo gets it done. Cade gets it done. It's going to be great. Just think back to 2 years ago with the way that we were talking about Dabo. Is Dabo too old for college football? Is Dabo stuck in his ways to not be able to win it?
Tyler from Spartanburg, dude.
I say nay. Let's get it done, Dabo. This is going to be beautiful. It's an undefeated season. Clemson. It's going to be fantastic. That's what I have for you guys.
Electric. He got too excited for the rematch. Just unbelievably electric. We went way too long on that, but that was incredible. For the stories told by each of us, but we're gonna move on. But let's hit a little week 0 pick. Ben, I kind of threw this on you, but we do have to talk about the chips and salsa. All right. So I had a pick. I didn't end up picking Farmageddon, so I saved that for you. But Hawaii -2.5. They're winning against a power conference. Stanford. I think Stanford is that bad, and I think DeMarcus Davis, UCLA transfer, is that good. Former 4-star. He was a 3-star in the transfer. He's never played. So just going off that pedigree, he kind of got pushed out because of Nico and Joey Aguilar, who then transferred away to Tennessee. But yeah, I'm taking Hawaii. Rough travel for the Cardinal.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, I'm taking Farmageddon here. And I mean, underrated quarterback battle to start. Well, I guess not in your opinion, start. But an underrated quarterback battle to kind of kick off the season with Avery and Rocco. I think it is going to be a boatload of fun. Again, I'm not in the same boat as you that week 0 doesn't kick it off. I really do think. And sometimes you get some really good chips and salsa. And that's what I think this game is going to be. I do think Avery Johnson has what it takes to win this, and I do think K-State's going to win in Dublin here.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video as much as we did filming it. Make sure, like, subscribe, comment, do all those things. It really, really helps the algorithm in a major way for us. And then required to say live, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central Time. We're always live every single week, always talking football, mostly the NFL, but we're going to start sprinkling in college football a whole lot more throughout the season, obviously. So we don't want to miss anything. We don't want you guys to miss anything. So that's all I got, and let's roll that outro.